This design calls for a series of stages, so the landscape development is going to be staged over quite a long period of time. Under those circumstances, you might well want to work on a design, say in stage 5, and then hide that design on layout sheets or indeed when you're working on it. So there are a number of ways to do that, but a very simple method is to create a block containing all the items on stage 5, but in this case I'm leaving the yellow line outside of the block, and you'll notice that that's on a layer that I call stage 5 hide. So if I go to my layer options and just turn off stage 5 hide, that group disappears, and so I could plot this out and focus just on stage 1. To return stage 5 hide, we just click here and show it, and if I wanted to edit that block, I just select the block, right click and edit the block. That swings out here, so I could develop that block. In fact, I could be working on that block independently. So if I select that one and copy it from the end point of that line there to the end point of this line here, I could then unselect all. I could then pick that one and copy it from its base point and just click, 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 and click. So I've put some copies of that block at twice the spacing that I used through here. So I'm using a double step size. Now when I close the block editor, the changes that I made have been worked on. Just say, for the sake of argument, we had to do some extra work in that zone where we did need to see the boundary. Well, then it's just a matter of selecting the block, right clicking and explode it, and that would break it up into its constituent parts. So by manipulating layers, and if we have a look here at our layers and we concentrate on stage 1, so I've got stage 1 hide, stage 1 main path, stage 1 planting, stage 1 boundary, and so on. So all the layers to deal with stage 1 are grouped together there in this column. I could select and change the sort order, but they're all grouped there together. So I can manage the display of items in here and in here, and so it's a relatively simple matter to set up that sort of system with a consistent naming convention, and you can handle the display of layers. I notice here, for the sake of argument, that one there is it's close to the boundary, so we'll edit the block, dive in here, erase that particular one, right click, close the block editor, and the job's done. So I can actually do a fair bit of work on this little block that just sits in there, and if at any time I want to hide it, I can do so without any difficulty at all. I think the difficulty might well come in working on a group such as this. So your block, let me select it for the moment, just contains the planting. I think I'd probably want to include the path into that block for stage 1, but I digress.